The winter of 1944 gripped the Ardennes in ice and silence. German panzer crews, veterans of brutal campaigns, prepared for Hitler's last gamble, a lightning strike to split the Allies. Spirits flickered between hope and dread. Early fog and surprise let their tanks smash through thin American lines, echoing the glory days of Blitzkrieg. But the illusion faded fast. Bottlenecks, frozen engines, and meager supplies slowed the advance. Every mile cost precious fuel and time. The cold gnawed at men and machines alike. The offensive, bold at first, became a desperate crawl. The panzer spearhead, once unstoppable, was now brittle, cracking under the weight of a war already lost in the factories. The gamble was turning into a grim, losing battle of attrition. German tanks like the Panther and King Tiger were engineering marvels feared by Allied crews. In skilled hands, they could devastate enemy armor, but for every Tiger, the Americans fielded dozens of Shermans, less powerful, but reliable and endlessly replaceable. German crews fought bravely, but each loss was irreplaceable. The Americans, backed by vast industry, could repair and return tanks to battle in days. German commanders hoarded their precious panzers, forced into caution. The myth of invincibility shattered, not by better tanks, but by the relentless tide of American production. In the end, numbers and logistics overwhelmed even the best machines. The German offensive ran on hope and empty fuel tanks. Planners gambled on capturing Allied supplies, but shortages haunted every mile. Tanks stalled, not from enemy fire, but from lack of fuel. Crews siphoned gas from abandoned vehicles, desperate to keep moving. Meanwhile, the American Red Ball Express roared to life, flooding the front with fuel, ammo, and reinforcements. The US supply network adapted and grew stronger under pressure. The German war machine, built for quick victories, simply couldn't endure. In the frozen Ardennes, the German advance sputtered and died as their supply lines snapped. For a week, fog shielded German columns from Allied air power. But when the skies cleared, P-47s and Typhoons unleashed devastation. Rockets and bombs tore through stalled tanks and trucks. German crews, trapped in steel coffins, could only pray. On the ground, American artillery dominated. With endless shells and precise coordination, barrages shattered German attacks before they began. The time-on-target technique brought sudden, overwhelming destruction. The combination of air and artillery supremacy turned the Ardennes into a deadly trap. German morale crumbled as every movement risked annihilation from above or a storm of steel from afar. In the forests and villages, the battle belonged to the infantry. American GIs, underestimated by the enemy, regrouped and turned towns like Bastogne into fortresses. Armed with the M1 Garand and backed by machine guns, mortars, and bazookas, they outgunned their foes. US squads coordinated with tanks and artillery, hunting panzers in close quarters. The fighting was savage, house to house, tree to tree. German commanders expected the Americans to break. Instead, they held firm. The defiant nuts at Bastogne became a symbol of American resolve. This tenacity, paired with firepower, stalled the German advance and set the stage for Allied victory. The Battle of the Bulge ended not with heroics, but with exhaustion. Germany lost over 100,000 men and hundreds of tanks, losses it could never replace. The elite panzer divisions were shattered. For the US, losses were heavy but replaceable. New tanks and troops arrived from across the Atlantic. The battle proved that modern war is won by logistics and production, not just tactics. German brilliance and courage couldn't overcome Allied industrial might. The Ardennes offensive was the last gasp of a failing strategy, crushed by the relentless arithmetic of war. In the end, factories and supply lines, not just soldiers, decided the fate of nations.